great friends?
Can you say my answer? Oh, I have one. I feel more prepared for the future. Deepening my relationship with God.
Hi, welcome to Dominion Ridge Academy's virtual Friend to Friend event. My name is Mariana Wakil. I am Director of Operations and Advancement here at the school. Prior to serving this position, I was secondary and elementary instructor. I've also served as vice principal. One of the things I love to share with people about Dominion Ridge Academy is our focus on mediating a sense of confidence, competence, and belonging. And that's what's unique to our school. So this event, the theme you've already seen, is Let's Change Minds. And what that means is that we're changing minds about education. The approach to education here at Dominion Ridge Academy is unique and groundbreaking. We focus on the interests of the child. We focus on the child's giftings and on their strengths, and we support the vulnerabilities, and every child is known by administration and by their teachers. So, we're looking forward to you joining us for this program and learning more about this program. The Friend to Friend event is a great opportunity for us to celebrate what's taking place here at Dominion Ridge Academy, but it's also a time for us to invite you to join us in this mission. So, coming forward, you're going to hear from experts who have come into the school, have done training and professional development with our teachers, our administration, who have helped us build this philosophy and approach to education. You're going to hear from teachers who are in the classroom and who are boots on the ground per se, really learning with the students and helping the students focus on how they learn as much as what they learn. And then most importantly, you're also going to hear from families who are experiencing this approach to education with their children, and they are seeing firsthand how this changes lives. So join me as we first begin with hearing from our founder, Lorraine Hewitt, for her vision for Dominion Ridge Academy.
Hi, my name is Lorraine Hewitt. I'm the co-founder and head of school at Dominion Ridge Academy.
Our vision at Dominion Ridge is that all students, from special needs to gifted, become independent thinkers, independent learners, and effective communicators to both serve God and their neighbor. At Dominion Ridge Academy, we believe that this unique approach, not just to education, but to Christian education for both the student and the classroom, is where we serve our students best. This unique approach to the classroom is using the right professional development for our teachers, giving them the tools to teach students not just what to think, but how to think. We believe at Dominion Ridge Academy that wisdom in many counselors and many experts have come in to help build this philosophy and this unique approach to serve our students best.
Hello, my name is Kristen Barber, and I'm the Executive Director of the National Institute for Learning Development, which we call NILD. And it's my privilege to share with you about Dominion Ridge Academy's journey to become an NILD inside school. When Mrs. Hewitt and I first began conversing about the professional learning needs of her staff, she always had the student in mind. She knew she wanted an excellent teaching staff who could build the thinking and learning of all students at Dominion Ridge Academy. So from the board level to leadership to staff, there's been a concerted effort to become students of their students, to understand what learning science has taught us about teaching and learning, and then connecting that into classroom applications. So Dominion Ridge Academy began a 5-year journey with NILD to become an NILD inside school. That meant that there were ongoing professional learning opportunities for the staff, multiple trainings in the summer, week-long trainings where your staff would give up their summers to learn how to teach their students to think better. And then throughout the school year, there'd be classroom observations with job-embedded coaching where myself and others would come alongside and really encourage staff's continued development to link learning science with classroom application. So this professional development that Dominion Ridge Academy staff have experienced has expanded their vocabulary for knowing how to develop their students' thinking, using cognitive functions as a specific language that's used across the various grade levels and throughout the various curriculum domains. But professional development hasn't just looked at cognition, because what learning research tells us is that there's no thinking action that's separate from a feeling one. So in addition to cognition, Dominion Ridge Academy staff has been spending a lot of time learning how do they promote and produce classroom environments that stimulate, strengthen, and support the affective or emotional development of their students as well. And so we focused on such topics of sense of belonging, self-efficacy, or the students' beliefs about their ability to be a reader, to be a mathematician. We've looked at growth mindset and what does it mean in terms of the power of a good mistake and how mistakes are the best learning opportunities. So what does research show as the impact of this approach of building students' thinking skills as well as their affective or emotional abilities and dispositions? Well, the good news is it says that the learning needle is moved for students in that their ability to acquire knowledge, process information, to think critically, to problem solve, be creative and innovative are stimulated through this approach. And so as I've worked with Dominion Ridge Academy for more than 5 years now, I've seen a beautiful transformation among the staff and in the students, where there's a reciprocality of conversations that happen peer-to-peer, peer-to-classroom teacher, and there's excellent mediation where you're taking thinking skills and developing them to a higher level. And these cognitive skills, these specific thinking actions, are changing and shaping intelligence. You see, the brain learns through experience, and the best way the brain can learn through experience is through teaching in these authentic learning experiences. So Dominion Ridge Academy leadership, staff, and students, I commend you on being an NILD inside school, on providing excellent academic and social emotional learning for your students. You truly are a school who values the whole child comprehensively and recognizes that we are made in the image of God and that we are to be transformed by the renewing of our minds.
Well, I'm David Martin, and I'm a retired professor of education from Gallaudet University in Washington, D.C. And I've been a trainer in the instrumental enrichment program for many years and have been involved in the training of a number of teachers at Dominion Ridge Academy, which found it's been a very wonderfully receptive school to the ideas that are behind the program. The training that I've done for Dominion Ridge has been in two different versions of what's known as the Instrumental Enrichment Program, which was developed by Professor Reuven Feuerstein of Israel in the 1950s and has been adapted to a wide variety of populations. And the particular program that has two versions, known as instrumental enrichment, has one version that is designed for ages really basically 3 to 8, and also children of any age who have special needs. And that includes adults as well. And then the other version of the program is designed for learners of age 9 up through adult. And I've then done training in both of those versions of the program at Dominion Ridge, depending on the age level that the students are working, that the teachers are working with. One of the important aspects of the program is that it deals not only with thinking, but also with feeling. And that this is some part of the idea that most of our acts of the use of the brain have some component of feeling dimension and some component of thinking dimension. Of course, there are some things that we do that are purely thought and some that are purely emotion. But Reuven Feuerstein had a wonderful quote, and it was this. It said that thinking and feeling are two sides of the same coin, and the coin is transparent. And I've always found that to be a very meaningful metaphor for the idea that thinking and feeling are often united in some way. And so therefore, in this particular program, there are aspects that are very much emphasizing the cognitive or thinking aspects of learning, but there are also several components that deal with the emotional dimension as well. And I guess the other important thing to say about the program is that the methodology is unique. It rests on the concept of what we call mediation. And mediation is different from telling or teaching. Telling or teaching often are one-way streets, and the view of the learner is an empty vessel into which you can pour information. That is not the idea of mediation. The idea of mediation is that all humans have cognitive potential, and that the mediator, who may be a parent, or could be a teacher, has the role of drawing out and coaching and guiding and leading, but not telling the learner to achieve particular thinking skills. And so the technique is very heavily dependent on open-ended questioning. And that includes, of course, a variety of content. We've done a lot of research, and there's been over 3,000 research studies that have been done on the program over the last 60 years. And the effects seem to be very consistent along such lines as being able to do a careful job of identifying a problem, developing strategies for finding and then solving a problem, being able to reflect on the strategies that one has used, being able to transfer their strategies that they used on a particular problem to another problem that is yet to be encountered. It is more hypothetical. A lot of emphasis on planning behavior, but we do have measurable results in both settings, of classroom settings and in clinical settings, that shows improvement over time in many of those areas. And so we make bridges between a problem-solving situation that's done with the tasks in the program to areas such as family life, social life, certainly for older learners to the workplace. And so it's very important to see that the problem solutions are not limited to just the task at hand, but they can be generalized. So that's how to enable the learner to become more and more independent while growing in their thinking capacity.
Hello, I'd like to tell you a little bit about my involvement with school, what I've been doing with them over the past year. My name is Dr. Ruth Deutsch. I'm a former British, I'm an expat educational and child developmental psychologist. And one of the areas in which I've specialized in the course of my work has been in the development of the thinking, reasoning, problem-solving skills of young children, together with the full flowering of their self-regulation as individuals and the emotional and social development. Last year at this time, I welcomed one of the staff members of school to a course I was running called Bright Start, which deals with input into the early years of child development. The teacher who took the course took it up fully and very seriously, shared it with her colleagues at school, and in August of last year, I ran a program for the entire nursery school with all its range of staff, teachers, therapists, classroom assistants, and so on. Why is that so important, and why am I sharing it with you? There is nothing more important than the early years of children to set the foundations for their healthy development. School isn't just about developing academic skills, learning, and certainly this school has shown itself to be really committed to the development of the entire child. The programs that I've been doing, which we hope will be continuing this year, begin where it should begin in the early years and spread upwards to integrate throughout the school. Research that I've been aware of for many years has shown that the way this school is taking things forward is exactly the approach that is likely to guarantee the success of the children. In other words, what we call a whole school approach, involving all members of staff with all their varied and skilled contributions. I'm very much looking forward to continuing the work with the school, helping support and develop their staff, integrating their skills with a variety of other programs throughout the school, and knowing that in my small and individual way, school has invited me to contribute to their dream, their vision of a school that develops the whole child.
What incredible experts in their field. We are so blessed to have them be a part of Dominion Ridge Academy. And I think it's critical to today's student and today's classroom, that social emotional piece that they mentioned. What was that quote by Dr. Feuerstein?
He spoke about the difference having a coin and having one side emotions and the other cognition, and how there's a transparency because one affects the other so intensely, especially now as we're living through a pandemic. You know, to separate emotions and how it affects our thinking would be wrong. Social emotional learning was a buzzword, but is an imperative now for all schools to have an approach that addresses this.
Absolutely. And secondly, Dr. Martin and Dr. Barber, they both referenced that research is showing that this approach that we're using here at Dominion Ridge Academy is effective.
Yeah, Yes, there's no doubt where you can see the cognition, where the points are moving and students are changing, and then that incredible piece of planning behavior and accepting others' points of view. Dr. Martin talked about how important that is, and we see it here at the school. We see where we're all the way back down into 5th grade where they're receiving FIE in the classroom. And one of our students, not to get political at all, just happened to watch a debate and came back and asked me why they hadn't received FIE. It seemed that they couldn't really respect each other's opinions. Having that perception and understanding of other people's opinions is so very important today, to respect each other. We believe in teaching that type of thinking. Again, we'll say our quote is unity amongst diversity, where we feel that we shine. And again, giving these kids through the right professional development that ability to be understood, that actually have the tools to think about others to be understood and respect their neighbor.
And isn't that what I think is so unique to, yes, we have a unique approach to education, but it's a very unique approach to Christian education too.
Yes, no doubt. In Genesis, again, they're created in the image of God, and everyone, Psalm 139 says, they're uniquely created. No two are alike. So we will have different opinions. And we believe, just like that mediation piece where Jesus with the woman at the well, where he spoke with her and not at her, as Dr. Martin had elaborated on that mediation piece of not just filling an empty person with just information, but mediating them to that sense of confidence and competence and belonging that I believe is a beautiful example through the woman at the well with Jesus.
Absolutely, because God says to love him with all our heart, mind, soul, and strength, but to love our neighbor, and we need that
Yes.
right now, and our students are getting that daily. So we get to see this every day here in the hallways, in the classroom. So now let's hear from our teachers and our educational therapists who are in the classrooms actually experiencing this one-on-one.
As Dean of Instruction, I have a special view of how curriculum is used within our school. One special aspect of Dominion Ridge Academy is that each teacher is provided professional development to understand not just what students learn, but how they learn. Through these classes, our teachers are able to help our students understand the relationships between the techniques that they learn within the classroom and real-life applications in the world outside. Through specific professional development, we are able to help our students make connections, have conversations, see how their education is going to continue beyond just Dominion Ridge Academy. Ultimately, the teachers at Dominion Ridge Academy are able to help their students achieve skylights. They're able to help them move past the basic understanding, the basic output, and we are able to see that these students truly understand the areas that they're learning, that they are able to apply the literature techniques and the mathematical problem-solving skills in their lives at will. And so this is the kind of outcome that we're looking for. Not just numbers, not just figures, not just data on a spreadsheet. We're able to see how our students blossom within their public speaking skills and with their early engineering techniques that they're learning within the classroom. These are the kind of outcomes we're looking for. And through this specific professional development and through our inclusive atmosphere of Dominion Ridge Academy, we're able to provide this for all of our students.
So here at Dominion Ridge Academy, Kristen, we focus as much on how a student learns as to what they learn. Can you elaborate a little bit on what that gives you as a teacher in the classroom and what you see for your students?
It's so much. It's the reason I wanted to work here, to focus on the child and helping them how to learn as opposed to what to learn. If you teach them how to learn, everything else falls into place and they're able to take it beyond the classroom. And we cover so much more than what is expected because they're able to branch out on their own and ask those questions and do that thinking beyond my expectations of them, and that's because they're taught how, not what to know.
And that expands on those teachable moments that just make your classroom, and every classroom here, but your classroom so dynamic. Hi, we're here with Ann Turner, an NILD education therapist here at Dominion Ridge Academy. Ann, can you tell us a little bit about your role as a therapist?
Yes, at Dominion Ridge Academy here, I work with students one-on-one. We assess our students and figure out their strengths and weaknesses and develop an individual plan for each one. Then we use techniques that target the areas that need to be activated for each student. And we implement a plan that helps them to become more effective and efficient as learners. Eventually, they usually, at least, our success rate's pretty good, but they become more confident and independent at learning themselves. They become more aware of how they think and what works for them, what strategies they need to be better at learning. I really like how my students have done with rhythmic writing. It's a very powerful technique that builds fluency for reading and writing, and it integrates both sides of the brain. It activates the hemisphere for language, and I see that my students become more confident and more at peace with handwriting, and more confident in their reading. It impacts writing, reading, thinking, processing speed. It's a very powerful thing, and it's across the board with students from a young age to in high school, to people that are quick, people that are impulsive. It really helps with self-regulation, and it's probably my favorite technique.
Now we're asking our audience to join us in this mission to invest in what we see as a real need in education. Can you elaborate a little bit on what that need is?
Absolutely. Before the pandemic, we saw the need for the students to be understood, and now even more, even greater, since there's been so much trauma, and a different approach to the classroom tragedy gave us a great opportunity to meet that. Again, each student needs to be understood, and many more out there need to be understood in education. And teachers, of course, do what we do because our product is a life, and we believe in changing lives. Changing minds and changing lives is what we're all about. So getting beyond just this school and taking it for others is a goal in the future. But investing in what Dominion Ridge Academy is doing is supporting more and more students to be understood.
And what better way to really understand this impact on students' lives than to hear from the parents themselves?
Megan is receiving services 4 times a week at Dominion Ridge Academy, and the services that she receives is through the training of the therapist through the National Institute for Learning Development, and also through she's also receiving FIE services, which is Feuerstein Instrument Program. The combination of the two, and I was just sharing this with a colleague yesterday, but it is really a mountaintop experience in the sense that she's getting both of the brain approach to the cognitive strengthening that she needs to be able to think for herself, organize her thoughts, be able to even be able to synthesize it and elaborate it. And she's able to do that at home, and she's very expressive, and she tells us what she wants, but really the questions, which is very impressive to me, is her thinking skills, and the why questions, the what questions, the how questions, that even some of people that are typical learners are not asking. So, and this is something that she's been taught. And just yesterday, one of the teachers came up to me and said, well, Megan has an hour video that she needs to watch, and it's on Greek history and ancient history, Greek ancient history, and she needs to write down on Greece, and she needs to write down 7 questions about it. And I said, you want her to watch a video for 50-something minutes and be able to tell you what she just watched? Yeah. And I don't even know if I can do that.
And take a note.
And then take notes. And I said, okay. And he said, you know what? She can do it. I'm like, okay, she can do it. And that's the attitude of all the teachers with Megan, is that your bar is here, but they look at her bar all the way up here. And so that is really the success of the school, is that there is no bar. It just doesn't, there's just no habit. It's sort of a seamless from here to there. And so I sincerely believe that she's going to become, one of our next preschool teachers, possibly. I'm sure that Megan will be a self-advocate. I don't see this at all. I was telling Mrs. Watkeel earlier today that, even as short as 50 years ago, that children with emotional disabilities were put in institutions. And so I think this is something that we can probably express in a real deep, sincere way, that this really is possible. Megan has made it possible. She has shown me, and I believe that the neuroeducation throughout the school, with the teachers understanding the same language, has really been key in identifying how to be able to see and view her needs, and also be able to talk to her, because we're all using the same language. And so that's a great appreciation for the effort that has been put out for all of the professional development, especially through NALD and 4-H Time Institute. So thank you.
Hi, my name is Amanda Johns, and I'm here with
me,
Corey Johns. And we are really thankful that you're giving us the chance to spend a few minutes telling you what we appreciate about Dominion Ridge Academy. Corey, do you want to go first?
My favorite thing about Dominion Ridge Academy is recess, because I get to play outside with my friends for a long time.
Well, I also appreciate recess. I just wanted to mention 2 other things in addition to recess. First, I really appreciate the commitment to educating the whole child, and I also appreciate the growth-oriented mindset. And I just wanted to spend a couple minutes to tell you what that means to me as a mom. When we first moved here, I attended a tour with Miss Watkeel, and she talked about the importance of every student being known by at least one member of the administrative staff, who would know who that student was and his or her story. And I thought, whoa, that's really different. I really liked it. As the tour went on, I heard from other members of the faculty and staff, and I saw what it looks like for a school that values educating the whole child. And as I mentioned, Dominion Ridge Academy also works hard to foster a culture that embraces a growth-oriented mindset. I know that I'm sending my children to a place where they're genuinely valued and accepted in a way that celebrates their strengths, but it also creates an environment where they can be honest about their weaknesses and appreciate those weaknesses as areas where they can grow more. This means my kids have the opportunity to succeed and fail in a safe environment, which is so valuable to me because it's a wonderful way that Corey and my other kids can experience God's grace in their lives. And it also helps them understand that obstacles and other humbling situations are actually great opportunities for them to grow in their relationship with God and with others. It takes courage for a school to stand firm in a growth-oriented mindset. I think this is because it takes so much more time, patience, investment, and creativity than simply falling into the flow of cultural and academic rat races that focus on the achievements and numbers more than celebrating the individual growth of each student. Few schools are able to persevere in this direction, and I'm so glad that Dominion Ridge Academy is different in this way. I'm encouraged that my kids will be better spouses and parents and friends and coworkers and whatever else God calls them to be because of Dominion Ridge Academy's commitment to educating the whole child and fostering a growth-oriented mindset. Most of all, I hope that the culture they are experiencing at school will help them understand how much they are valued by God and understand more and more what Jesus has done for them. All of this will help them experience greater joy and fullness in their lives as they grow into adulthood. And these are all the things that I appreciate most about Dominion Ridge Academy.
Well, Mariana, you are an administrator at Dominion Ridge Academy, but you're also a parent. Tell us about your journey.
Well, this journey has been amazing here at Dominion Ridge Academy. My son is going into the 11th grade here, and he came when he was in the 3rd grade. And we have experienced private school and public school prior to coming to here. And I would say the experience here is a direct impact on the person he is today. Yusuf arrived here with not only having to figure out a new school, but having to really figure out a lot in his young life at that point. And one of the first things that I have to really credit here at Dominion Ridge Academy is the approach to the child, to the individual child. There were days when Yusuf really was struggling. He lost his grandfather who lived in Morocco, and of course the distance made that difficult. He's gone through a lot of different things in his years, but what I always found faithful was the approach teachers had to him. Understanding him as an individual, understanding that he needed to know his dignity, and as a result of that, that's the foundation that's launched him into dual enrollment classes at Regent University, or has launched him into being one of the leaders in the worship band here, launched him into starting a TED Ed club here. You know, when I do tours, I always talk about being a big fish in a small pond, but really it's not so much about that. It's about the approach to education. And so for Yusuf, that unity amongst diversity, you know, I know his father seeks out the diversity in a lot of areas for Yusuf, for him to grow and understand in that environment. And I too, but I also wanted the community, and that's what's so unique here as well. That there's diversity, but there's community. And in that community you find a sense of belonging. And truly, with that statement, finding a sense of confidence, competence, and belonging, I have watched Yusuf thrive. I've watched him grow into the man that he is today. And add to that the Christian foundation and support to him, where he's now received his calling to go into the ministry and is ready to launch. And I credit a lot of that to Dominion Ridge Academy, both supporting Yusuf, but the partnership with parents here. I can speak to that one-on-one as well, is that partnership with parents to, your child's not dropped off. I didn't just give Yusuf to you and say, here, take him. It's a partnership, and I think that that's another thing that his father and I would both speak to, is that watching you support us and the teachers support us as parents and guiding Yusuf into his future.
Amen. And it reminds me, as your son usually does, about Jeremiah 29:11. It says, I know the plans I have for you, and they're not plans to harm, they're plans for hope. And we believe firmly that God has a plan and purpose for all our students so that they are understood and they all belong.
Hi, my name is Amanda Hazel, and I currently serve as the Vice Chair for the Dominion Ridge Academy School Board. I would like to speak with you about why I am a financial supporter of Dominion Ridge Academy. Not only am I a part of the school board, but my husband David and I are parents of a Dominion Ridge Academy graduate, class of 2018. We heard about Dominion Ridge Academy, its Center for Cognitive Formation, and its inclusion program when our son, Andrew, graduated 8th grade. We were looking for a school that could work with Andrew's learning differences, understand him as an individual, and prepare him for his future. Many schools address academics for students through differentiated learning and other standard approaches, but not all schools address the social and emotional differences and needs that each child has as they enter a classroom. When those differences are due to intellectual and developmental disabilities, it is even more difficult to find a school that really understands your child. It is these differences that cause the constant knot in a parent's stomach and cause you to worry about your child's future and how they will navigate life as an adult. We support Dominion Ridge Academy because we feel the teachers actually understood our son, and they met him where he was, and they loved him for who he is. Andrew is now in his 3rd year at George Mason University Mason Life Program. He is still learning academics and appropriate social emotional behavior. But it was Dominion Ridge Academy that gave him the strong foundation from which to work. All students at Dominion Ridge Academy are understood through the school's focus on a holistic approach. We believe this school is making a difference in the lives of its current students, but we invest because we want to see its reach go even further, expanding the program to reach more students. We are honored to be financial supporters and members of the Dominion Ridge Academy Circle of Friends. We encourage you to join us in making a difference in the educational experience of students. Together, let's change minds.
Thank you, Amanda Hazel, and thank you for your support at Dominion Ridge Academy. And thank you to our board of directors who helped us begin this event with a $31,000 leadership gift. We also thank our current Circle of Friend members who continue to pledge and give towards this amazing approach to education. As I started off with this introduction, we began saying the Circle of Friends and the Friend to Friend event is a wonderful opportunity to celebrate what takes place at Dominion Ridge Academy, but it's also a time to ask you to join in our mission. This unique approach to the classroom affects children directly, as you've heard from our experts, with the research that's been done, from our educators who are in the classroom, and from our families. But let's be honest, it goes beyond these 4 walls. It also affects the future workforce. It affects future families, and really it affects the world. It makes change happen. Your gift and support can take this to more classrooms, to more children, and it can even take it to more schools through the model that we have here at Dominion Ridge Academy. For example, a $5,000 gift, that can train an educational therapist. A $2,000 gift, that can provide one-on-one services for a child. A $1,000 gift can bring additional efforts in research at the school to show the results of what's happening here. A larger gift can take it beyond Dominion Ridge Academy to other schools. So after this video, you'll see the QR code and you'll see a link and it'll be emailed to you. We ask that you take a look at that, visit that page, make your donation, and join us in this mission. And we look forward to, first of all, thanking you for participating, and together we look forward to changing minds.